Yo, 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 yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show. Today is July the 9th. We have three more games in the W for today. Real quick, I didn't do a show yesterday. The slate, even though it was three games, it wasn't anything that I absolutely loved. Had a couple leans. Of course, they cash. I didn't bet anything yesterday, though. The day before, I told you guys I like the Liberty and the Dallas Wings under. I think the total was 175.5, and that did stay under, even though some late fouling. Like, I thought they were trying to push it over. But, yeah, I think it stayed under by about 10 points. So, winner, hopefully I have two more for you guys today. Let's jump into it. I'm hopeful that you guys found some ways to make some money. Today's show will be a little bit different. I'm going to go through things a little bit quicker because I don't have as much time today. So, let's jump right into it. We'll start off with Jackson, AI Sports Betting Tool. It's linked in the description of the video. If you guys are interested in checking it out, make sure that you do so using that link to save yourself some coin if you want, AI to help you with making your bets. Not place the bets for you, not give you all of the information, but, just to kind of save you some time, use the link. So today's prompt, I asked Jackson for totals specifically. I asked Jackson to analyze today's WNBA slate to identify the highest value opportunities for game totals, over-unders, highlight matchups with the largest discrepancies between current sportsbook lines and projected outputs based on team pace, possessions per game, offensive and defensive efficiency ratings over the last 5 games, and head-to-head historical trends, specifically factoring in rest advantage, travel schedules, and missing key rim protectors or high-volume shooters. Provide the data, pace projections, and analytical reason for each over-under recommendation. So the first one is, and the biggest one, it says is the Indiana Fever and the Phoenix Mercury, under 174.5. It says this is the single most incorrectly priced total on the board. The market has set it at 174.5, but the statistical profile of these two teams combined with catastrophic injury news points towards a lower scoring grind. The Fever's offense has completely collapsed without their primary engine, and they now face a Phoenix defense that has shown significant improvements, allowing just 86 points per game over their last 5 games. The situational context heavily favors a low-scoring affair. The Fever are entering the matchup without this superstar engine, Caitlin Clark, who remains sidelined with the back injury. Clark is the driver of the Fever's league fastest pace. Without her elite playmaking and transition pushing, Indiana's offensive tempo is projected to crater. The Mercury are also dealing with their own roster shifts, having recently lost Novik for the rest of the season, while Kalia Copper has rebounded from a slow start. Phoenix often prioritizes defensive stops to secure home wins. In a matchup between two teams missing primary high-volume scores and facilitators, reaching 175-point threshold is mathematically improbable. My model projects it closer to 164, providing a massive 10.5-point edge on current markets. It says it's back in the under. Okay, so that is the thought process, and we'll just ride with that one. Just like I said, for time purposes, I don't really have a ton of time. Let's jump into the matchups for today. So we'll start off with the Seattle and Atlanta, and I guess the least I can do so people know how to follow along is highlight the game that I'm talking about. So we'll go Seattle and Atlanta first. Let's get it highlighted. Okay. All right. So Seattle, Atlanta first. Again, I won't be going through everything in full details to be a much shorter show. So just for time purposes. So I do want to talk about the injury report is fine. Like, we don't have to too much talk about the injury report. Seattle's good. Atlanta could get Aaliyah Nye back. She hasn't played in forever. No Bree Jones. So Seattle has played in 3 straight unders. Their first game on the East Coast in quite a while. They did win against Los Angeles in their last game. And then Atlanta, this team has actually lost 5 in a row. They failed to cover 6 in a row. Terrible. Started on their road trip. They came back home. They started losing. Even lost that game to Golden State. But they do have 4 days off since their loss to Golden State, and they've been struggling offensively. I think Seattle is a difficult matchup for them as far as like being able to score the basketball. But I do think that these two teams go in opposite directions, and I think we see a little bit of regression from Seattle. I think Atlanta is potentially the right side in this game. This is the second matchup. Atlanta they were playing second leg of back-to-back. Seattle smoked them 105-90 as 8.5-point dogs in that game. And it did go over the 168.5 total. I like this total under, though. I do think that Atlanta's offense is primed to bounce back. But until I see it, I think they can win the game with their defense. Seattle's not a good road team. We know that they're only 2-9, got the second win of the season. And they're only 4-7, I think, ATS on the road. And typically it's because of their offense. I think the Dream neither one of these teams play super fast. I think the Dream will have a chance to get their revenge in this game. They're only the second team in history of the WNBA to be a double-digit favorite after 5 straight losses. I was looking into that. The only other time it happened that the Sky did beat the Fever and cover. They were laying 11. They covered, winning the game by 16. So my numbers tell me under. I think Atlanta can win this game with their defense. Seattle's offense will regress just a tad bit. They shot the 3-point shot pretty well against Los Angeles in their last game. And going from the Sparks defense to the Dreams defense should be a little bit of a difference for the Seattle team. So I like under in this game, and that's what I bet. I got 168, 160. This total open 169.5. I wish I would have got the opener, but I'm in on 168 in this game. From a player prop perspective, really quickly, let's see. From a player prop perspective, I do think Alicia Gray was super aggressive in that last game against the Valkyries. But I think if there's somebody that I'm looking at in this game, it's probably Ryan Howard. Like she's been a little bit more consistent this year than I think previous years. I mean, she's clearly the best offensive player that they have. And because I'm expecting a little bit of regression, this Seattle Storm defense is not the greatest at home. Seattle Storm defense is not the greatest on the road. So Ryan Howard, I like her over 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists here. You can see that she's been pretty, clearing this line pretty well. 27 points, rebounds, and assists is what she's averaged over her last 10 games, 8 over her last 10. She's gone over. The last time that they played, remember they were playing second leg of back-to-back. She still finished with 30 points and 3 assists. So at the crib, I think Ryan Howard's in a pretty good spot. I like Ryan Howard today. I think she's in a really good spot. You can see rebounds and assists given up. She typically, rebounds the ball pretty well. She can facilitate as well, and the Storm do give both of those things up. So Ryan Howard, if I'm betting from a player prop perspective, I think she's going to have to get busy. The volume should be there for her as well. Rested at home, in a revenge spot. It should be a Ryan Howard type game today. 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists is what I like in that one. All right. Now, the part of the show where we speed up. And let me get my camera back right. All right. So next up, we have Indy and Phoenix. So this is one that I probably will end up betting. I haven't bet it yet. But Indy, I wrote down Phoenix -1 last night, and this line has now flipped. Indy is now laying points, laying 1 point. Well, Phoenix, you can still get Phoenix -1.5, -1.5 on most books. So you may want to wait on the injury report. I probably will wait on the injury report in this game as well. But I think let's jump into it. So Aaliyah Boston was out last night in Los Angeles, and Caitlin Clark was back. And then now it should be a flip, right? So Caitlin should be out after being her first game back, and Aaliyah Boston is projected to play tonight. Sammy Wickham is listed as probable on the Phoenix side of things. This will be her first game all season. And then Alyssa Thomas is listed as probable because she rolled that. I thought she was done for the season, honestly. They're listing it as a foot injury. To me, it looked like I watched that game the other day in Chicago when they were playing Chicago at home, and it looked like she was cooked, but she walked off under her own power after getting up. I want to say she even came back and played, a few minutes in the game, but they still without Natasha Mack. And I don't know how well Alyssa Thomas is going to be today. We'll see. That's to be determined. I would think that she's not quite 100% though. So on the Indiana side of things, this is of course second leg of back-to-back. They got the doors blown off of them last night when they played against the Sparks. So second of back-to-back. They had gone into last night's game with back-to-back wins against the Aces and against the Sparks, and this will be their third straight road game. Now on the Phoenix side of things, situationally, it's a much better spot for them. Third straight home game. They're coming off the loss as a favorite to Chicago, so potential bounce back spot. They played them back-to-back unders, and this was I think they had won 3 in a row before losing to Chicago. The season series is split. We know that these two teams do not like each other. Caitlin Clark and Alyssa Thomas, hand, elbow to the throat or whatever it was in the last game. Indiana won the first one, and Phoenix got their revenge in the game that Caitlin Clark got hurt, and they were both played within 2 days of each other. So I had a couple systems that said to take the over in this spot. I don't really like the over as much. So unrested road favorites are 19-7 to the over. Only one time this season has it happened, and the game did go over. And then a thing that jumps out to me though is that the Mercury are laying a point and a half here, and everything is in their favor. To me, this screams Fever, like bounce back spot, right? I just mentioned this, right? So the Fever are playing their third straight road game. They're coming off a loss. They're unrested. The Mercury don't have a ton of rest, just one day, but they played their third straight home game and they're only laying a point. I told you guys last game that I thought, based on the line, I'm not a big Chicago guy, but based on the line, I thought Chicago had a chance to win that game. And lo and behold, they did. Phoenix is just not right now, and I don't think listen, like having them come back is gonna help, but I'm not sure if it'll be the first game. Outside of Kelsey Mitchell, who played 33 minutes, none of the other starters played more than 21. I think Aaliyah Boston being back helps out the paint defense a ton. And I don't know, all the systems just kind of tell me that the Fever can win this game tonight. So I'll wait on the injury report just to kind of confirm, because especially with second leg of back-to-back and all the Leah Boston and Caitlin Clark stuff. But I do like Indy in this game. I think they can win the game. They're 3-0 straight up in ATS without Caitlin Clark this season. She came back last night and was a team worst, -16 in her return versus the Sparks. Only had 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in 16 minutes. And the Fever, while they are just 1-4 when they have less rest than their opponent, the Mercury are just 2-6 when they have more rest than their opponent. So I think that I think Indiana can win this game on the road in Phoenix tonight. I just think they got too much offense for Phoenix. Phoenix won't be able to keep up, in my opinion. Thinking that Sammy Whitcomb is going to need a game or two under her belt before she starts to flourish in this spot. Also, the Mercury don't the Phoenix, the Indiana Fever don't give up a ton of jump shot stuff. They give up a ton of paint stuff. So we'll see. I think Alyssa Thomas won't be 100% either, though. So you're relying a lot on Kalia Copper and DeWanna Bonner. All right, next game up is Aces and Portland, and I'll be quick on this one. So Asia Wilson is listed as questionable. That's the holdup here, right? Dana Evans is game time decision. Of course, they just recently got rid of Kennedy Carter. And then on the Portland side of things, Carly Samuelson, she's been game time decision, it feels like, for the whole season. She's still listed as questionable. So you got an Aces team that's, coming off a loss to Indiana after beating Chicago in overtime. They've had a couple days rest here, I think 3 days to 4. So it's a rest disadvantage, but both teams are pretty rested. Portland, first game home off a 4-game road trip. They've had 4 days off since beating Seattle to end that road trip. And the first time that these two teams played, the Aces smoked them 105-89. They were laying 11.5 points in that game. I think if Asia Wilson comes back, the Aces do whatever they want to in this game as well. Aces team total over is what I would be looking at in this game. I looked at the Aces coming off a loss where they have more than 2 days rest, and they're a road favorite, 3-1 to their team total over, averaging 95 points per game. And then I also looked at the Aces coming off a loss as a favorite when the game went under, and then they had 2 days of rest. So offense didn't perform well, and they lost the last game. And they average they're 5-0 straight up and against the spread. Average 95 points per game and 5-0 to their team total over. This dates all the way back to 2019. So if Asia comes back, I think that they, kind of name a number. We know that this Portland defense is one of the worst in the WNBA, and they're coming off a really good defensive performance against Seattle in their last game. So I think a little bit of regression. They are 14th in defensive rating on the season. So I think the Aces should be able to kind of name the number, but not without Asia Wilson for my money. So that is the quick recap. Hit the like button if you can. And y'all enjoy the day, man. Enjoy the games. Again, sorry for the, a little bit of a shorter show today, but I think I'll add Aces team total, which is, what was it, number 91.5, which the books kind of tell you, Asia Wilson going to play if the team total is that high for the Las Vegas. So I'll probably stay away from the team total. I think Asia comes back. She dominates the paint. And Portland, they kind of soft in the middle. So, it's my thought process, man. Y'all enjoy the day. Check the resources out, all listed in the description of the video. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, Eyes Jam. And I'm out of here, man. Y'all enjoy the day. Enjoy the games.